5G services to be cheaper than 4G for telcos. COVID self-test kit now as low as RM4.90 each. Welcome to News at 10 with me, Brendan Lepol. Chief Secretary to the government, Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki Ali, has called on civil servants to manifest the spirit of Keluarga Malaysia in implementing programs planned by the government to ensure the well-being of all Malaysians are akin to one big happy family. He said various initiatives and programs have been planned by the government, and it is now up to the civil servants to buck up, especially in the aspects of delivery and services to the public.
Kita harus membuang mentaliti kau-kau, aku-aku. Sebaliknya bekerjasama erat dalam kalangan unit atau bahagian dalam setiap organisasi. Tidak berlengah-lengah atau melewatkan permohonan tanpa sebab yang munasabah serta memanfaatkan teknologi digital dalam memberikan perkhidmatan.
Now, the proposed amendments to 3 acts, which are necessary to complete the domestic ratification process of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership (RCEP), will be tabled in Parliament next month. Senior International Trade and Industry (MITI) Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali said the draft amendments to the acts are currently being refined by the Attorney General's chambers.
Setelah pindaan tersebut diluluskan, seterusnya Malaysia akan menyerahkan surat cara ratifikasi atau Instrument of Ratification kepada Sekretariat ASEAN.
The senior minister said that based on the assessment of the Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, the value of the country's exports is expected to increase by RM44 billion a year when the RCEP comes into force. He also said that as of 2nd November this year, Singapore, China, Japan, Brunei, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, New Zealand and Australia have ratified the RCEP agreement. Following this development, RCEP member countries have completed the minimum requirements for ratification, and the effective date of the RCEP agreement is on the 1st of January 2022. However, Datuk Seri Azmin said this enforcement currently only applies to the 10 countries. A meeting will be held in December among top party leaders in the country to discuss the anti-party hopping bill and gather views on the issue of party hopping and laws referring to it. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, said the Prime Minister's Office, PMO, has also prepared a survey to gather the opinions of members of Parliament and the public. According to Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi, the survey will be given to the public and MPs from 23rd November to 7 December. Speaking in Parliament, the de facto leader minister said another survey on the limitation of the Prime Minister's term to 10 years can be answered from 24th November to 8 December. A technical committee will also be formed with the membership of 3 opposition MPs and 3 backbenchers MPs to review the set unanswered matters.
Satu, kerangka RU telah disediakan tetapi masih terdapat banyak persoalan dasar yang tidak dapat dijawab. Oleh itu, satu jurukuasa teknikal akan ditubuh dengan ahli 3 daripada Pakatan Harapan dan 3 orang daripada Kerajaan bagi meneliti persoalan-persoalan ini, dan kerangka tersebut adalah berstatus embargo.
Now, the price or charge for 5G services to the people in the future is expected to be much lower than the cost of using 4G now. According to Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz, the proposed price to be charged to telcos is less than 20 cents per GB for 5G, but it is still being refined and is awaiting approval from the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission. In a question and answer session at Parliament today, Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul said, given the importance of connectivity and the digital economy for the country, the government had taken firm action in February 2021 by announcing the Malaysian Digital Economy Blueprint, My Digital. In terms of financial implications, he said telcos may prefer the implementation of 5G, which is not open to all mobile virtual network operators to maintain their profitability position.
Buat masa ini, harga yang akan dikenakan kepada syarikat telekomunikasi oleh DNB masih diperhalusi dan sedang menunggu kelulusan daripada SKMM. SKMM sebagai pengawal selia akan memastikan harga yang ditetapkan adalah adil dan berteraskan pemulihan kos dan bukan untuk menjana keuntungan. Saya telah dimaklumkan bahawa proses penetapan harga 5G tersebut hampir dimentamatkan dan ia amatlah berbeza dan jauh lebih rendah berbanding kos bagi setiap gigabyte 4G oleh syarikat telekomunikasi.
On the other hand, Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul added, the model adopted by Digital Nasional Berhad DNB will encourage telcos to compete in terms of prices, products and services, because they have saved in terms of capital for the provision of infrastructure that has already been provided by DNB. On another note, Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul said the implementation of 5G will boost the government's coffers and it is expected to generate some 21 billion ringgit from direct economic activities for at least the next 10 years. He added the implementation of 5G is expected to support up to 15,000 jobs related to the development of the network and the creation of about 148,000 jobs in the economy as a whole while driving the economic transition to highly skilled workers.
Sebuah kajian yang dijalankan oleh EY menunjukkan penggunaan teknologi 5G mampu menghasilkan KDNK tambahan dalam lingkungan 122 bilion ringgit pada tahun 2030. Didorong oleh kemajuan dalam produktiviti dan kecekapan hasil penggunaan 5G oleh perniagaan dan industri. Peserta industri semasa akan memperoleh keuntungan memandangkan rangkaian 5G akan mengguna pakai infrastruktur sedia ada untuk meningkatkan kecekapan.
Users of 3G mobile phones or devices have been urged to quickly migrate to 4G network before 3G service in Malaysia is completely switched off on 31st December. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) said this is to ensure that telecommunication service is not disrupted and cause them to be left behind in the digitization wave. Elaborating further in a statement release, MCMC said consumers who are still owning SIM card, which only supports 3G network, have been told to contact the nearest service provider to upgrade to 4G to avoid any inconvenience. The termination of 3G network is in line with the efforts of the government to put up a more comprehensive and higher quality broadband coverage under the National Digital Network Jendela Infrastructure Initiative. According to MCMC, it is aimed at reusing the existing spectrum to boost 4G network and enable mobile network providers to improve digital connectivity and give a better 4G experience to customers and households. As of 30th September, 94.03% of inhabited areas have 4G access to mobile broadband service at a speed of 31.34 megabits per second. The government will conduct a review of household income to determine the poverty line income or PGK among Malaysians next year. Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department Economy, Dato' Edin Shazli Shith, said the comprehensive study will be carried out to determine household income levels and basic amenities as well as the household expenditure survey. Dato' Edin said the PGK calculation methodology to ensure that the consumption patterns, needs, as well as demographics of Malaysian households are on par with the development the country has achieved since 2018. In 2019, the government utilized a more multi-dimensional approach to gauge the poverty rate. One of it is to measure poverty based on a multi-dimensional approach, which stresses on increasing the quality of life, such as health, education, housing, living standards, access to information and household monthly income.
PGK yang terkini telah dikemas kini pada tahun 2019 menggunakan metodologi PGK 2019 mengambil kira konsep kos keperluan asas dalam pemilihan barangan adalah berdasarkan konsep optimum minimum, manakala PGK bukan makanan berdasarkan 146 barang dan perkhidmatan asas. PGK mengambil kira peningkatan kualiti hidup dan corak perbelanjaan oleh kumpulan isi rumah. Berpendapatan 20% terendah ataupun P20, PGK 2019 juga menunjukkan perubahan harga semasa bagi barang dan perkhidmatan.
To come, systematic plan for Hawk Jets replacement under Cap 55. Stay with us. But first, COVID-19 self-test kits are now available for as low as RM4.90 a unit at 99 Speedmart. In announcing this, Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Dr. Sri Alexander Nantalingi said the cooperation of traders is much appreciated to lighten the burden of the people, especially in the efforts to control and bring down COVID-19 cases in the country. Hoping that more premises would take the same measure soon, Dr. Sri Nanta said the opening of various economic sectors, employment, schools and education institutions would help push the demand for COVID-19 self-test kits. The government has fixed the maximum retail price of the kit at RM19.90 and the wholesale price at RM16 per unit effective 5th September. KPD and HEP had allowed 7,302 premises nationwide, such as supermarkets and chain stores, to sell COVID-19 self-test kits approved by the Health Ministry and the Medical Device Authority, MDA. Earlier, the COVID-19 self-test kits received conditional MDA approval to be sold at selected clinics and pharmacies. On another note, Dr. Sri Nanta said an official announcement will be made within the next 2 weeks to curb the rising prices of basic necessities nationwide. He said KPD and HEP has had talks with two other relevant ministries, namely the Finance Ministry and the Agriculture and Food Industries Ministry.
Dalam masa terdekat ini membuat sesuatu langkah-langkah yang mungkin dapat mengawal keadaan ini dan kalau boleh kita kurangkan harga barangan keperluan. Jadi saya minta sabar sedikit untuk pengumuman rasmi dibuat oleh Kementerian Kewangan sebab ia melibatkan dari kewangan juga.
Elaborating further, Dr. Sri Nanta said one of the reasons for the price hike identified by the government was due to rising costs of farm operation and imported chicken. Some 12,000 graduates will benefit from the setting up of the MOHE X Shopee Siswa Mall program. The program will provide training on the aspects of e-commerce and business skills online for graduates of the 2019 to 2021 sessions. Higher Education Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Noraini Ahmad said the program, a collaboration between the Ministry of Higher Education and online shopping platform Shopee, aims to produce more skilled online entrepreneurs among university graduates based on the Higher Education Institution Entrepreneurship Action Plan 2021 to 2025.
Dalam hubungan ini, Shopee Malaysia telah dilantik untuk menyediakan latihan keusahawanan dan platform perniagaan dalam talian kepada graduan. Dengan adanya kolaborasi sebegini, para graduan dapat dilatih dan diperkasakan khususnya dalam perkara yang berkaitan dengan bidang keusahawanan dan e-dagang. Ini sudah tentu akan dapat mengukuhkan lagi usaha KPT bagi membentuk golongan usahawan digital masa hadapan.
Successfully trained graduates who have started their business under Shopee will also receive an assistance under Package Bantuan Usahawan Siswa. The package covers special Shopee vouchers, advertisement credits and many other benefits. The government is systematically planning the replacement of Hawk 108 and Hawk 208 fighter jets, as outlined in the Royal Malaysian Air Force RMAF Capability Development 2055 or CAP 55. Senior Defence Minister Datuk Seri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein said the government had also started the replacement process by approving the new acquisition of fighter let-in trainer light combat aircraft through Rolling Plan 1 2021. Elaborating further on the matter, Datuk Seri Hishamuddin said the international open tender for this procurement was closed on 6 October this year and is currently in the evaluation process. On RMAF basis in high-density areas and in locations that are no longer strategic, the senior minister said all RMAF runways were in accordance with International Civil Aviation Organization standards, which were periodically audited by Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia and the RMAF itself. Datuk Seri Hishamuddin said despite being in a high-density area, as long as it met the standards, there was no need for the Ministry of Defence and the Malaysian Armed Forces to make drastic decisions on the location of the existing RMAF bases.
Kesemua adalah merupakan prosedur operasi standard SOP bagi operasi penerbangan pesawat di samping piawaian ketat yang ditetapkan oleh ICAO bagi kesemua perkalaan UDM. InsyaAllah pihak Mindef dan ATM akan berusaha untuk menambah baik SOP dan langkah-langkah keselamatan sedia ada demi memastikan keselamatan anggota dapat dipertingkatkan. InsyaAllah.
Now, Selangor plans to focus on the business and general aviation segment of the aerospace industry as these sectors were proven to be resilient to the impacts of the pandemic. Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amiruddin Shari said an example of a resilient segment of the aviation industry during the pandemic was air cargo operations, but not all airlines or operators had the capabilities or resources to tap into this in-demand market, while business and general aviation was the other. Datuk Seri Amiruddin said about $13.88 billion worth of business jets were transacted worldwide from January to July 2021, compared to $14.10 billion in the same period pre-pandemic in 2019. He said this is an extremely encouraging sign for these segments, considering that the commercial airlines, airports and tourism industries are only expected to get close to full recovery by 2024 or later. Besides that, Selangor Menteri Besar said increasing flight activities will also boost the supply chain of the aviation industry ecosystem in the state. Among them are the ground service providers, maintenance, repair and overhaul (MRO), as well as engineering service providers, flight crew organizations, training providers, and those from the legal, financial and taxation professions. Founder of the Rumah Bonda Welfare Home, Siti Bainun Razali, was again charged in the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court, this time with mistreating a 13-year-old girl with Down syndrome. Siti Bainun, 29, however, pleaded not guilty to the charge, which was read out to her before Judge Israel Lizam Sanusi. The woman was charged as a person having the care of the child, with having mistreated the girl in a manner likely to have caused her physical and emotional injuries. She was alleged to have committed the offence at a condominium unit in Wang Semaju, Kuala Lumpur, between February and June this year. The charge, framed under Section 31, Subsection 1, Subsection A of the Child Act 2001, carries a maximum fine of 50,000 ringgit or imprisonment for up to 20 years, or both upon conviction. On 20th August, the woman already pleaded not guilty to a charge of neglecting the girl in a manner likely to cause her physical and emotional injuries at the same location and between the same time frame. The court allowed her bail for 5,000 ringgit with one surety, and she was also ordered not to intimidate the witness, as well as to surrender her passport to the court and to report herself at the nearest police station. The court also set 15 days for the trial beginning 30th of March next year. sports, Zafei Izzuddin beat Olympic champions to reach Indonesia Open quarters. Stay with us. After 10 years of contributing to the development of high-performance sports in the country, the National Sports Institute (NSI) is ready to move forward with the launching of the Integrated High Performance Recovery Centre. The 13.8 million ringgit world-class facility will be equipped with the latest rehabilitation amenities to provide athletes with sophisticated recovery techniques. Youth and Sports Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal Azumu described the rehabilitation centre as a proud achievement as well as a benchmark in the field of sports science in the country.
Tentu sekali setiap usaha yang kita lakukan adalah untuk mencapai impian kita. Tetapi jauh lebih penting daripada itu ialah untuk memastikan tahap kecergasan, tahap atlet kita berada di dalam tahap yang terbaik. Itu pada saya lebih penting dari segi untuk menjaga kesihatan para atlet kita.
The facility is also open to the public so that it will provide exposure and options to the people on systematic and scientific methods in the injury rehabilitation process. National men's double shuttlers Noor Izzuddin and Go Zafei surprised everyone with remarkable performance of beating Olympic Games champions Li Yang and Wang Jilin to move into the quarterfinals of the Sim Invest Indonesia Open. Also qualified into the next round were Ong Yusin and Teo Yi, who beat compatriots Aaron Chia and Soh Woo Yik in the second round today. In their first meeting with the Taiwanese pair, Izzuddin and Zafei only needed 37 minutes to clinch the victory. They easily won the first set 21-15 before having to overcome the hurdles put forward by their opponents and win the second set 23-21. Meanwhile, Yusin and Yi beat the national number one pair, Aaron and Woo Yik, in straight sets, 21-14, 21-17 within 29 minutes. For the quarterfinals, Yusin and Yi are scheduled to face world number one pair, Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo and Marcus Fernaldi Gideon of Indonesia. That concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, 5G services to be cheaper than 4G for telcos. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Till then, I'm Brendan Paul. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM. Take care and good night.